Welcome back everyone. Today's video is about the refraction through a prism. We have already studied about refraction phenomena, and it is bending of light at the interface of two media. And cause of refraction or cause of bending is difference in the speed of light in the two media. If the difference in the speeds is more, like in case of air and oil, then bending will be more. If difference in the speeds is lesser, as in case of air and water, then bending or refraction will also be less. We will study refraction through a prism, and first we will know what a prism is. So prism is made up of glass and it has two triangular bases and three rectangular lateral surfaces. See this figure. This is the triangular base on which prism is lying. This is another triangle and rest three surfaces are rectangles. So this is first rectangle, this is the second, and this one is the third rectangle. So prism is made up of glass. It has two triangular bases and three rectangular lateral surfaces. And this prism is called as triangular prism, and this is the one with which we will be working. But apart from this triangular prism, there are other kinds of prisms also, like rectangular, pentagonal and hexagonal prism, and a cube prism also. But we will be working with the triangular prism. Another term is angle of prism. It is that angle at which two rectangular surfaces are inclined to each other, and we name it as angle A. So angle A is called as angle of prism. We will first perform an experiment to understand refraction through prism in the science laboratory. So for that we will take a glass prism and place it on the triangular base and outline its boundary. Then we will draw an incident ray which will fall on this prism. After that, we will take two pins and insert them on the incident ray so that they are at least at a distance of 3 to 4 centimeters from one another. After that, a third pin will be taken and we will move to the other side of the prism and insert the third pin in such a way that this third pin and these two pins, when looked through the prism, appear to be along the same straight line. If we look through the prism, these two pins will appear somewhere here. So we have to insert third pin and then fourth pin also in such a way that all the four pins appear to our eyes along the same straight line. So after inserting these two pins, we will remove the prism from here and remove the pins also. Circle the marks left by the pins. Then join these two marks with one another and also with the prism. This will be our emergent ray now. If we join incident ray with the emergent ray, that will give us the refracted ray. At this point of incidence and at this point of incidence, we will draw normal and then mark all the angles. Angle between incident ray and normal will be our angle of incidence. Angle between refracted ray and normal will be angle of refraction. Between emergent ray and normal will be angle of emergence. This is angle of prism, and this angle with which emergent ray has deviated from incident ray will be called as angle of deviation, D. Now we will compare refraction through prism with refraction through glass slab. In the glass slab, we have noticed that incident ray and the emergent ray that comes out of the slab are parallel to one another. But in this case, incident ray and emergent ray are inclined at some angle, which is called as angle of deviation. The cause of angle of deviation in the prism is that the two surfaces where refraction has taken place are inclined at an angle. But in case of glass slab, the two surfaces at which refraction has occurred, this surface and this surface, they are parallel to one another. So therefore there is no angle of deviation, or angle of deviation is 0. The rays are parallel and there is slight lateral displacement. After performing this experiment, we will check whether our experiment is correct or not. For that, we will measure these four angles: angle of prism, angle of deviation, angle of incidence and angle of emergence. And if this relationship comes out to be true, then it means our experiment is also correct. We will also write here what is I, R, etc. So write what these angles are. If we perform or plot a graph between angle of incidence and angle of deviation is also represented using the symbol called as delta. So when we plot the graph, we will see that if we keep on increasing angle of incidence, now what is happening to angle of deviation? Angle of deviation will first decrease, it will reach a minimum value and then it will start increasing again. So the graph shape will be a parabola between angle of incidence and angle of deviation. So this is all about the experiment performed in the lab. Now we will learn the technique to draw this diagram because this diagram should be technically correct. So how to draw it? Let's see it carefully. First of all, we will draw a triangle. It should be an equilateral triangle. And approximately at the center of this surface, we will draw incident ray and extend it in the dotted line further. Then at the point of incidence, we will draw normal. While we draw the normal, we have to be very careful because this angle between this line we have drawn and this surface of the triangle should be 90 degree. So draw this angle carefully, it should be 90 degree. Now this incident ray is moving from a rarer to the denser medium. It means it will bend towards the normal. So this is the normal, this is the incident ray. Instead of going straight, it will bend towards the normal. So we'll show this is the refracted ray. Now refracted ray should not be parallel to this base of the triangle. It should be inclined towards the base of the triangle. Keep this also in mind. Now at this point we will draw another normal. And again, angle between this normal and this surface should be 90 degree. Now the ray will come out from the denser into the rarer medium. So it will bend away from the normal. So this would have been the actual path. So it will bend away from the normal. So it will again go towards the base of this prism. So again we will see incident ray when enters the prism, it will be inclined towards the base of the prism. And when it comes out of the prism as an emergent ray, again it will bend towards the base of the prism. So this ray will always move towards the base of the prism. Show the path of the three rays with the help of arrows and name them. So this is incident ray, refracted ray and the emergent ray, and actually it will be like this. Now we will mark all the angles and we have just seen what these angles mean, and we will write the names of all these angles also. And this relationship needs to be true. Another beautiful phenomena linked with the prism can be easily witnessed during the rainbow formation. We know that white light is made up of 7 colors which have different wavelengths. These 7 colors travel with the same speed when they are in vacuum. But as soon as they enter some other medium, which can be water or glass or any other medium, they start traveling with different speeds. As a result, the bending in these 7 colors is different, their paths become different. So white light splits up into 7 colors. And this phenomena of splitting of white light into its constituent 7 colors is called as dispersion. And if we obtain these 7 colors on the screen, that will be called as a spectrum. So we will learn to draw the diagram of this dispersion, and this diagram should be drawn very carefully, otherwise it can be incorrect also. So for that we will first draw a triangle which should be an equilateral triangle. On this surface of this triangle, we will approximately in the center, we will draw an incident ray. When this incident ray will enter the prism, it will not only refract but also split up into 7 colors. And for showing that splitting, we will first draw a dotted line which should be exactly parallel to the base of the triangle. Then from this dotted line, we will take a distance of 2 mm to draw the first dot and 2 mm to draw the next dot. Means at a distance of 2 mm from one another, we will put 7 dots here. All these 7 dots will then be joined with this point of incidence to draw 7 refracted rays. Means splitting of light will be occurred here. After that, we will draw a screen in front of this prism at least 4 to 5 centimeter away from here. from the first refracted ray, we will put a dotted line, exactly straight horizontal line up till the screen. And then we will put 7 dots at a distance of half a centimeter from one another. So after every half centimeter, we will put 1 dot. So total 7 dots. Join first dot with the first refracted ray, second with the second, and so on. So we will join all the 7 dots with the 7 refracted rays. And this will be our spectrum of Impure. Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red color will appear on the screen like this. So label the diagram. This will be white light, prism, screen, and 7 color spectrum of 7 colors obtained on the screen. We will notice that bending of red color is minimum while bending of violet color is maximum. It will look like this. Now the cause of minimum bending in case of red color is because it has largest wavelength and it moves the fastest. So this we will get from this relationship. Wavelength and speed are directly proportional. Larger wavelength means fast, lesser wavelength means slow. So red color has large wavelength, it is fast, so that is why minimum bending. Violet color has the smallest wavelength, so it moves the slowest. As a result, it will have maximum bending. So this shows why violet color bends the most and why red color bends the minimum. So this is dispersion through a glass prism. Remember to put the arrows at the refracted rays and also at all the emergent rays. And do not forget to rub both the dotted lines. Now let's see a few important terms. First is the monochromatic light. Now we know that white light is made up of 7 different colors of different wavelengths. But if we have light of single wavelength, that will be called as monochromatic light. And sodium lamp gives us yellow colored light, which is monochromatic. Polychromatic light will be that light which has many wavelengths or many colors. Example is sunlight and the mercury lamp. Pure spectrum. When white light splits up into 7 colors, if all the 7 colors are visible distinctly without any overlapping, we call it as pure spectrum. If there is some overlapping of different colors, then it will be called as impure spectrum. Now another concept. We have seen that if light will pass through a prism, it will split up into 7 colors. But if in front of this prism we place another prism of exactly same size and shape, identical prism, upside down, then all 7 colors will recombine to give us back white light. This experiment was performed by Sir Isaac Newton, and let's see how to draw the diagram for that. So first we will draw a triangle and then show incident light through a slit. Now the purpose of slit here is to obtain a narrow beam of light. When this ray will pass through the prism, it will split up into 7 colors. We are showing only 2 extreme colors, violet and red. After it comes out, it further changes its path. At this point, we will keep another prism which is identical, but we'll keep it upside down. Now these rays will pass through this prism and they will get refracted. And we remember from the previous diagram that the rays will always refract towards the base of the prism. So these rays will also bend towards the base, both the rays. So it will be like this, and both the rays will join at the same point. So when these rays come out of the prism, then they come out in the form of white light. And if we place a screen here, then on this screen a white spot will be formed. So we see that this first prism is behaving as a dispersing prism because it is splitting white light into 7 colors, that is Impure. Second prism is behaving as recombination prism because it is combining all the 7 colors back into white light. So we'll label all the parts of the diagram, and this is recombination of spectrum colors. So that is all in this video. We will continue in the next video. Thanks for watching.